I don't know if any of you can relate to this, but recently my wife and I decided to get a new car. And I really, believe it or not, I've been in sales for most of my life, most of my adult life. Yes, ministry is selling, believe it or not because you're selling literally, but you're trying to share an idea, and that really is selling. So I've been around sales for several decades, let's just leave it at that. And I just don't like most salespeople, not because they're bad people, but I don't like the technique and I don't like the tactics. And I think you guys can all relate to when you buy a car, the last thing you want to do is go in and face a bunch of wolves. So I've tried to do everything online, right? So we picked out the car, I went to the manufacturer to find out what kind of deals there were. I contacted a couple of dealerships that sold the car, and I got quotes from them. So I took the quote, went to the dealership, and I said, this is going to be so easy. I'm just going to show them my quote, take the car for a test drive, and sign an agreement, sign the contract, and I'll be done. And I'm thinking within an hour, okay? Silly me. So we take the quote to the dealership. I walk in, again, surrounded by wolves. They're all like, oh, we've got a live one, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a live one. And I said, look, guys, I'm all set. I've already worked with so-and-so. They gave me a quote. I'm just here to test drive the car. So I said, would like to meet the person because she said, reach out to me when you get here. She came down and literally spent 10 seconds with me and said, I'm just going to hand you off to these fine wolves with very sharp teeth who look very hungry. I'm like, oh, okay, great. So I took the test drive. Car was great. It's what we wanted. We came back in, and then the nonsense began, right? So I get this document put in front of me which says, if you're serious about getting a car today, sign this document. I'm like, oh my goodness. And I looked at the sales rep and I said, dude, this is nonsense. I'm obviously serious, but signing something? He says, don't worry. And I said, I'm not worried. I said, I'm just letting you know that this is foolish. And so I scratched my name on it because I was now interested. I was now going to see where this experience led me. So he looks at my quote and he says, wow, that's a very aggressive quote. I'm going to have to get my manager. Oh, geez. So here comes the manager, and the manager does oh, Harry, it's great to meet you, and your wife, great to meet you, and how long have you guys lived in town? And I'm like, look, I said, I appreciate the fact that you're small talking. We're on a time budget. This is the car. This is the price, and I'm showing my phone. He looks at that and says, wow. That's really aggressive. I'm not even sure we can honor that. I'm like, you can't honor a quote that you gave me? This is your logo, right? So long story short, 3 hours into this, I'm having a friendly discussion with someone who is signing the contract that's going through all the paperwork, and he changed something. And I'm like, why are you changing something? It's like, that's not what the quote says. Again, pointing to the quote, and he says, well, I can't honor that part. So you have a choice to make. So I'm 3 hours into this, what would you do, right? I don't want to do this again, right? I'm very frustrated. It's not like it's $1 million, but it's just not honoring what they gave me. So I signed it. What are the chances of me doing business with that sales organization again? 0, right?